Hey, what's up Guardians? TBL here, and today we're going to be bringing you a video tutorial on how to complete the exotic bounty, A Light in the Dark, which will award you the exotic handcannon, Thorn. Now in my opinion, the steps to complete this are much more difficult than those that were present in our last tutorial video, which showed you how to get super good advice, the exotic machine gun. There are a lot of steps that we're going to have to cover, so let's go ahead and dive on in. Of course, in order to do this bounty, you must have first received it from the bounty tracker. As I explained in my last video, the chances to get an exotic bounty are completely random. But it's generally understood that the more bounties you turn in, the better your chances are at actually getting an exotic bounty. Alright, so keep turning them in until you get one. For this video, we chose A Light in the Dark. Now the first step to this bounty is simple enough. You have to complete a run of the Summoning Pit Strike on the moon. The mission where you take down Phogoth the Untamed. Now this can be done on any difficulty setting, so I find it best just to jump straight into the level 12 mission and get it done. And if you haven't already, familiarize yourself with all of the enemies that spawn during the boss fight against Phogoth. It'll be important later on, as we'll be revisiting this mission at the end of this bounty. Anyways, like I said, complete the strike as you normally would, killing Phogoth, and you'll complete the first step of the exotic bounty, awarding you the depleted handcannon. Alright, on to step 2. Step 2 of this bounty is to simply get 500 Hive Kills on the moon. There are of course a variety of ways to do this. Each normal kill you get will count for 2 points, while kills against Hallowed Knights will count for 20 points, so I find it best to just spam the Dark Beyond mission, as you'll get tons of easy kills from all the thralls just going Surge Rush on you, as well as a quick and easy 20 points from the Hallowed Knight that'll spawn along with the mob. I found this to be easily the quickest method to completing this part of the bounty. After only about 10 minutes, I had my 500 kills, completing this step for the depleted handcannon. Alright, now that step 2 is finished, it's time for step 3, and probably what's going to be the most frustrating part of getting this weapon. The next step will require you to get a total of 500 points of void damage in the Crucible against other players. This can take a long time, as not only do you have to get kills in the Crucible, you have to do it with a void weapon. Additionally, both your kills and deaths will add and subtract from this total. Each kill with a void weapon will add about 5 points to the total, while each death will subtract 2. Meaning the bare minimum number of kills you need to get is about 100. And that's not taking into account any of the subtractions you'll get from dying. Overall, this is easily going to be the most frustrating part of completing this bounty. The way I completed it was sticking to smaller multiplayer modes like Rumble, which features at max only about 6 players. That, plus a legendary void shotgun and the smaller maps, took about as much pain as possible away from this process. So anyways, once you've ranked up about 500 points of void damage using any void weapon, you will have completed this step, gaining the corrupted handcannon. And no, we won't judge you for using a fusion rifle. Next up on the list of objectives is to bring the corrupted handcannon to the speaker. Both this objective and the next one are simply delivery missions taking place right here in the tower. So head on up to the speaker. The only thing you'll need to complete this part of the mission is one Mote of Light, which you'll use as currency to buy a special item called the Infusion of Light. Now chances are, if you've reached this point, you've probably already picked up a few Motes of Light. And for those of you who don't know, Motes of Light are a special form of currency that you'll pick up throughout the game. They take the place of your level ups once you reach level 20, so that whenever you garner enough experience to level up, you'll receive a Mote of Light. These Motes of Light can be used to buy special items from both the Seeker and Xyor, Agent of the Nine. Anyways, go ahead and purchase that Infusion of Light and move on to the next objective, which is visiting Ikoro Ray, the Vanguard's resident warlock down in the Vanguard hold. Bringing her the corrupted handcannon and the Infusion of Light will start off what's really the final part of this bounty, setting up your final objective to kill Xyor the Unwed. Hope you guys are strapped in, because this one's going to be a little difficult. Xyor is a special promoted Hive wizard, who will spawn along with the waves of ads in a very special version of the Summoning Pit Strike. That's right, we have to go back. Upon starting this phase of the bounty, you'll notice that a special version of the Summoning Pit Strike will be available for selection on the moon. This version of the strike is level 26, with both the epic and heroic modifiers turned on, meaning you will face a lot of highly aggressive, shielded enemies. The goal itself is for you to make it to Phogoth and then keep fighting the adds that'll spawn wave after wave. Make sure you do not kill Phogoth, as you need to keep him alive until Xyor spawns. I find that the best way to do this is to take rounds of running into the room, firing and taking down the mobs, and then funneling them back through the entryway, so that you can keep them in a tight choke point and hopefully take them all out relatively easily. This is a strategy a lot of people use to solo the Phogoth runs, but it's not without its risks. If you stay in the entryway here for too long, a Hive Shrieker that could 1 or 2 shot your group will spawn behind you. You have to be extremely careful at this point because it spawns without a sound, so make sure you pay attention to the radar, and the moment you see that red and white circle pop up, back out of the room completely. Sitting back about this far will cause the Shrieker itself to despawn, meaning you can safely head back into the fray until it respawns again in about 30 seconds. Now Xyor herself will not spawn until about the 3rd or 4th wave of adds, meaning if you're running this solo, you're going to be in this fight for quite a long time. Just keep wiping out the waves of enemies and then taking pot shots at Phogoth and focus on staying alive. This mission is extremely difficult, but with proper ad management, you should be seeing Xyor before long. Once the wave with Xyor finally spawns, congratulations, you'll be near the end of your quest. Now the only thing standing between you and an Exotic Handcannon is a promoted Hive Wizard. Keep hammering away at Xyor's health until you finally bring her down. Solar weapons and attacks will be very useful at this point, to burn through both her health and her shields. Once she's been defeated, congratulations, you will receive the Unbound Thorn. Now at this point, you don't actually have to defeat Phogoth, but seeing as how we went this far solo, your boy TBL wasn't letting him get away. So anyways, after defeating Xyor, either complete the mission or return to orbit and you'll be entering the final phase of this exotic bounty. Now that you've got the Unbound Thorn, your final step for completing this bounty will simply be to return to the speaker. Head back to the tower, triumphantly roll up those stairs, and present the Unbound Thorn to the speaker to complete this exotic bounty and receive Thorn, the Exotic Handcannon. Whew. Take a deep breath, Guardian. You're done. That was one heck of a ride, and believe you me, getting this done is not easy. But alright, now that I've shown you how to complete the exotic bounty, let's take a look at the weapon itself. Thorn comes with a base 260 attack along with 6 rounds in a mag. As a hand cannon, of course, it has a ton of impact damage. And along comes with that a lot of recoil. This weapon's got a ton of recoil before you fully upgrade it. In terms of upgrades, Thorn gets the Accurized Ballistics, Field Choke, as well as Aggressive Ballistics. The weapon itself deals kinetic damage, and comes with the final round ability, meaning the last round of the mag will deal massive damage. The weapon also gets Snapshot for faster aiming, Send It for increased range and accuracy, as well as Perfect Balance, which cuts down on the recoil significantly. But here is the big ticket, the signature ability of Thorn, Mark of the Devourer. It's basically a damage over time effect that applies every time you shoot somebody. Every time you land a hit, you'll deal lingering damage over time. Beyond that, Thorn gets your exotic weapon standard of 5 damage upgrades, meaning once it's maxed out, it'll hopefully hit pretty hard. But alright Guardians, that is how you complete the exotic weapon bounty, A Light in the Dark, which nets you the Exotic Handcannon, Thorn. Getting this weapon is pretty difficult, so hopefully after the upcoming patch, it'll all have been worth it. But alright, that about wraps up this video guys. If you like what you saw here, feel free to check out my channel where we'll have a ton more Destiny videos coming out soon. Anyways, that's it for me Guardians. As always, I am the Black Link. You guys stay frosty.